Hi and welcome back to my solo playthrough of The Thing, the board game. Obviously, I was playing the whole darkness rule a little bit wrong. The problem still is, it's nowhere mentioned in the rules how to deal with that, but it seems I asked that on the Geek and someone, a kind fellow asked, I think one of the designers on Facebook, and then he responded on Facebook and said, yeah. No, it's basically how I left a comment in my last video. So you basically play the whole turn round in darkness because it's then very close to the original multiplayer rules of the game, which you really have to play the whole, let's say, action phase in darkness. And again, that's what I did basically. I cheated the system to some extent. I repaired the generator room first, and then I could basically ignore the whole darkness part. That is wrong. I will not take it back. I cannot take it back. I will play it correctly if darkness ever comes back to us. Not unlikely, of course. But I think in respect to rule scoops, I think that's that. And really not on me. That's very poorly worded. Pretty much not mentioned in the rules at all, and not really a great job actually considering. But that's really one thing about those solo rules. I think they came rather late to the party, and yeah, that typically I think could imagine that too many folks asked for a solo cooperative mode for this board game, and this was something that they pretty much added on later on doing the campaign or so. But that's typically what happens, but makes sense. As of now, I will play it correctly. And with that being said, we should be ready to go. Keep in mind, we already lost our first character, Knowles, unfortunately. So he has been eaten by the alien and is now our alien player, that is, which means the game will change now a little bit. So we're adding another phase, but as usual, we will start with the weather phase. So let's roll the weather die. We have never used the weather station here, but honestly, in a 6-player game, you really have a lot more to do than dealing with the weather. So I think in an 8-player game, we were using it. I did remember. And there is a character who can also use the weather room much more efficiently. I keep forgetting who he is. But yeah, let's see. Let's roll that die. And of course, it had to be snow. And yeah, that's really terrible. So again, we know the drill here. We are losing 3, but it doesn't really matter here because I knew what was coming. So the boiler room is now completely damaged, which means again we are putting this overlay here onto the map, and this also comes with a marker. This one here, let's see, I think we are moving it from here down to there. And also depending a little bit on the weather, this thing is moving. But this could really end the game in basically 2 rounds. Again, there are possibilities to light the base on fire, which would then allow us to move this back. Here, at least individual rooms. And we do have dynamite. So McGreedy is carrying one. So this is what we can use to burn a room. But the next big problem is we are also losing 2 fuel from the generator room. And here was really hoping for, I mean, we could... 4 out of 6 results, 2/3 would be in our favor to some extent, but no, we rolled the most terrible result here, which means again we are back in darkness. So yeah, I can immediately show you how to play that correctly actually. And yeah, quite honestly, this could be the last round of the game actually. I mean, the alien will not eat all of our fellows, that much is clear. But maybe it's okay. Let's see about that. But of course, let's not forget the rescue helicopter. This one is moving here. Now we can basically send the rescue helicopter over here. It has arrived, so as of this round, in theory, we could send someone in there. And after, I believe, the encounter phase more, so we are moving everything, and then after the encounter phase, we are then dealing with the rescue helicopter and the rescue procedure. Again, we will see a final attempt of the alien attacking us. It could basically prevent our rescue, but I think as we still have 3 of our character with unrevealed loyalty cards, I don't think we are done yet in this case. I think I don't want to basically, I mean, if I see that everything else is failing, then yes, of course, I will try to make my escape. But I think right now for this round, we might be still able to do stuff. Let's see about that. The question really is, how badly do I want to repair the generator room? Again, I would have to send 2 folks in here. And quite honestly, I do think we need 2 fellas in here actually, just to get enough tests. If we are really extremely lucky, we get 3 tests. and then we have some clarity. But there is also some good chances that we are, yeah, pretty much losing one of our characters, maybe even two. I have to check that actually with these encounters. But I think that's our prime goal right now. So we sent Dr. Blair in here, and I think with Dr. Blair we are sending Gary. I think they can both take the hit. On the other hand, I could send McGreedy in here, because with McGreedy I can also use the dynamite to, I think that's the better deal. No, let's send McGreedy in with the doctor. And again, together, oops, they can do something meaningful there. Okay, that's that. As we are in darkness, I do think we need to send someone in here, and maybe, oh, that's now really rather wasteful actually, because we have, yeah, these three folks here. Or should I send someone to the kitchen? And two folks, maybe I should repair the generator room. But again, for the next round, I might try to do my escape. These are really some tough decisions. On the other hand, I could send him here and hope for the flamethrower, which would also allow me for, yeah, that's good. That's actually good. He can do a reroll, right? So we can definitely send him here because we are in darkness. He can reroll up to 3 dice in the kitchen, and again, having 3 dice there or 3 rerolls is good, which would still leave me with Gary. Maybe I should send him to the dormitory, because sending him now to the generator room here wouldn't help us at all. Yes, he could in theory repair one of those damage markers, but the minimum result that we are getting here is 1 anyway, so it would be broken right off again, and I think I will leave it at that. So that was basically our movement phase, and after the movement phase we are now doing the alien movement phase. It first of all looks at where are those characters in here. First of all, he's trying to do, or it's trying to do as much damage as possible. So we are looking at those two, and the prime targets are always our characters in this case. So here we have 2 characters, which means it takes 2 plus 1 of those damage markers. So he always wants to exceed our strength, because on a tie it's basically running away. It's not strong enough in this case, so it will try to go after this one, and then we will also put one of those random location cards next to this. Again, if you have a human alien player, that is, you will have much more informed decisions, of course, but in this case, yeah, it's an AI, it will act somewhat randomly. We still have 2 of those damage markers left, which means we are doing basically the same, and here it doesn't really matter. All of the other rooms have basically 1 character each. I think it can't go to the dormitory, so it might hit Norris or Clark over here. So we are still doing this one here, so it's always going after 2 rooms in this case, unless again it could have in theory another damage marker, and then it would try to go somewhere else. And if it goes somewhere else, even if there isn't character, it will still do some sabotage actions, which is also not great, of course. Okay, and after the alien has basically planned its turn, it's now time for the encounter. So we are also revealing those cards here. So that's the warehouse, which I believe, wow, it's sending 3 strength down here to the warehouse. I totally take that. I think this is the 3 strength marker in here. We are sending it here. It might eat a dog. I think it does actually. And the second room is the shed. Yeah, I think that's basically pretty cool, moving it down here. So I think in respect to our alien actions, we were extremely lucky. We still do have an encounter here, which means both the doctor and McGreedy are adding 1 to their suspicion. Again, he's ignoring those encounters with a dog, and I believe it does eat the dog. I think in this case there is no choice. In a normal multiplayer game you would be able to choose to basically either sabotage the room. In this case it would basically, remove cards. Or if there is an individual dog, it would then eat that dog, or you could eat that dog, which would give him another strength marker. I believe in the solo mode it simply does that. So we are removing this dog from play, so that's also not the end of the world, but we are adding one more strength marker which it can then use. So it has now 6 markers, and it gets additional strength markers for each human it also eats as of this point in time. Again, good and bad in this case. And the second alien attack is down here at the shed. It has 2 strength markers there, which means we are adding 2 of those damage markers in here. I think we can have more than one on this snowcat here. Could be terribly wrong, but I'm most likely not going to flee using chat because I don't have the key yet. We haven't been able. I mean, if the first item you're finding is the key, then you clearly have a goal to whatever prepare the snowcat or the base helicopter in this case. Yeah, didn't really matter too much. Okay, those were all of our encounters. We are still in darkness, so that's kind of a bummer. So we have to announce the character first, and in this case, yeah, we have to do that, right? We will assign this to Dr. Belair. That's our best bet. And then we roll. We have Gary in here. He could basically lay himself down to flip one of those dice. And are you kidding me? Wow, what an amazing roll. Which means we are laying him down. We will draw 3 now from the bag. Is that the right bag? No, that's the wrong bag. Here's the right bag. Because again, the cooperation bonus still counts in here. Wow, that was really cool. So that's 3 markers. Basically as planned, and no, it's another fail. Are you kidding me? And no, I have removed so many of those already. Okay, at least one, that is something. Okay, yeah, we will put this to Dr. Belair. Those are basically removed from the game. I think we have found 6 dots and 3 successes, which basically that's completely the average actually. No, I think I'm okay. It felt more horrible, actually. But that was okay. We were able to get at least one of those. Then I do think we want to have at least, hopefully, some more food this round. So we will assign basically the next set of dice to Norris. He has a flashlight basically built into him. So we can roll. And wow, amazing! That's really amazing. Cool stuff. But here I was really hoping to get something, but it's okay. So we have basically 2 food in the kitchen. So the next round we will still be in darkness, but at least we will still have all of our action dice available to us. Now that's now tempting, and I guess up next we may want to go again actually and assign the next dice to him. Again, we are hoping for a flamethrower, because again, then we could do at least a second test. I think this could be huge. So let's do wow! That's so amazing. Cool. Yeah, we are basically drawing 2 more cards here. Again, normally we would do that hidden. In this case, okay, that's a melee weapon. And oh gosh, are you kidding me? In this case, it doesn't really matter who we're giving it to. I mean, it's still a good weapon, don't get me wrong. We can use it to avoid an encounter with another human, but I was clearly hoping for something cooler. So let's give this over to Clark. I think this goes back to the bottom of the stack. We have removed 2 cards, and I believe there is only 1 or 2 flamethrowers in that deck. Yeah, it could have gone, actually. And then I'm really, wow, tempted to go again. He could still draw 1 additional token out of this. We have this one, let's call it auto reroll or immediate hit. He can still take 2, so let's do that. I'm pretty sure we will go down now. No, that was again amazing roll. So cool. So we are drawing, in this case, really only 1, unfortunately, and I'm still going for the wrong bags for whatever reason. No, that's the one. So let's see, and come on. No, it's so bad. Okay. But yeah, that was not a bad roll or a bad round actually. We didn't even have to use Gary, which I guess I take it. Awesome. Let's move everyone back to the leisure room. Some ping pong. So they're all in here. In theory, again, now they could trade items. And again, Clark has I don't think that Clark needs, because he might still go places and he's okay in respect to his suspicion track. So we may want to give this really to McGreedy or to Norris actually. As McGreedy already carries an item, I think we will give this to Norris. Now that's something that we can do as part of this step here. And then we are going to test again. Dr. Blair is definitely spending his blood bag. So in theory he's moving down here. But of course we have to reveal the loyalty card, and he's a human too. Oh wow, okay, so now it's down to Norris or McGreedy, but keep in mind, in theory, they could be both humans. We have lost Knowles, and for what all we know, he might have been infected all the way, actually. Wow, that was not bad. Not bad. One more now. One more of those blood bag tokens would have been so nice. But I guess, yeah, we have to eat. So that's the last food of the game. So I think other warehouse, the refrigerator or so, is basically empty, the food storage or whatnot. So there's really nothing to gain here. And then, yeah, the last thing to do... No, it's not the last thing to do. Again, I keep forgetting to draw for the dogs. We only have one out here, and we always basically reshuffle the whole deck here. So let's see. The one dog goes to the weather station, which I think is okay. Again, we have lost one dog. Basically, the alien has transformed the dog. We have two dogs still up here in the kennel. But yeah, we have now an alien with a strength of 6 actually because of that. And of course, let's not forget to move the alien marker one step to the left. Okay then, let's do another round. We are rolling the weather die. Are you kidding me? I think that's the third or fourth time I'm rolling the snow die, or the snow event. Again, the only thing that does matter is basically this one here, which means the death marker is moving 2 spaces here to the right. So with another bad weather result, with the snow, we would immediately lose the game. Again, 1/3 of a chance for the next round. Everything else would only move it 1 space to the right. And then we could still light, basically, or put a room on fire, and then it would move back to the left. Yeah, what to do about this? Then we are doing our character movement. And honestly, I don't really know what to do now. I would be inclined to actually escape, but we still have 2 unrevealed characters out there. Oh, I think we also would need to lose 1 fuel, of course. So we still have basically 2 forearms. So if it moves in here, we are still okay. The next time it then would move off, then the helicopter would leave, and then, yeah, I think then it's game over because we didn't prepare any other means of flight. So again, we are in an okay shape unless we are rolling this die here. I think I definitely still want to have... Yeah, we need 1 more reveal, I believe. I think we need to do that. So I guess we are not making our escape yet. We are sending him in here. He has the dynamite, so in theory he can survive that. Again, I would... that's also the thing. I could also send him again with the doctor, but again here we are now throwing 3 cards, which does increase our chance to get the flamethrower, and then we can really make the run through the next few. So let's take the chances here. We will send Dr. Blair and Clark in here, so they can definitely take the hit actually. And in theory we could even send Gary in there too, so this would give us 4 draws. Because again, we don't need to send anyone to the kitchen area. We don't need to repair anything. Again, we could still light something on fire, and McGreedy could still do that. If we are really extremely lucky here, I might want to consider that. I think that's a fair bet, but this also means I definitely do need someone in here, and I think this someone needs to be Gary again, which would leave me with Norris. Unless I'm saying he can take the hit, actually, the suspicion hit. Let's do that. So we are sending Gary in here, and we are sending Norris to the dormitory. Again, kind of a waste, but I don't want to send him to the warehouse because I don't think there is anything to gain there. No, let's not do that. But this means we basically build a pile of 4 for the alien, for this room here. Again, 3 plus 1 in this case. And then there are 2 more left for a different stack, which could be then, I guess, only the armory in the end. But then again, we will shuffle the deck like we have never shuffled before, actually. Okay. Okay, let's do a cut. And we are adding this one in here and this one in here. Now we are basically revealing it all. We will start with the alien, and this is again the warehouse. I totally take that. So that would be a 4 marker, but it doesn't really matter. So we are simply adding 4 strength markers in here, so we know this is a, basically we are losing 4 of those cards here. And the second one, if it goes now in here, I think it doesn't matter, and it's the kitchen. Okay, I couldn't care less actually. About the kitchen, and it even can't destroy anything here. We don't have any more spam left. Okay, that was really fortunate for us. We still have to take 3 suspicion hits for these fellas. So it's 1 for Gary, 1 for Clark, and 1 for Dr. Blair, who is totally fine now. And of course, our first action we are assigning to would be Dr. Blair, who will be fine no matter what actually, because we have Norris here in the dormitory and he can take 2 suspicion hits without problems. So that's nice, which again doesn't really help us in this case. So we have to lay him down. That is clear. We have to basically assign it to this side. Dr. Blair has to negate this one, so it gives him 1 suspicion, but again, that is fully okay for him. So he's basically on par with Clark. And now we are drawing 4 in here. 2 for himself and plus 2 of the corporation bonus. So that's, we are hoping for 2 actually. That's all we need. Oh, wait a second. Okay, let's see. No, I think it's okay. I think it's okay. First one, no, of course it's a fail. Second one, that's a good one. Nice. We draw 2 more. That's another fail. Come on, we need 1. Come on, we need 1 more. No! This is so cruel, this game. Ah, boy. Oh, boy. Okay. So we basically, these go out. We have 1. I mean, that's not terrible. Ah, okay, no. Okay, I think that was stupid of me, because I can only do 1 type of test each given round anyway. So the only thing that I would have gained from a second blood bag token, so I'm kind of happy that I didn't get a second one. I would have played it incorrectly, I guess. So the only thing that you gain from a second blood bag token is you don't have to send someone into that room the next round, for example. You can do other meaningful stuff here. So again, sending now someone in or doing another test in here doesn't really help us, but maybe it was still important enough to gain this 1 blood bag token in here. But this also means we may need to really do another action with him. Problem is, he could die, which in this case, unfortunately for McGreedy, wouldn't be too bad, because then we definitely do know who is who, actually. Yeah, let's do that. Again, one way or the other, he will take the hit for the team, actually. So, in theory, doesn't really matter too much what happens. And in this case, wow, that's now a tough call. So, we basically have both of those. We could now use this marker to hopefully gain another, or not another, a flamethrower. Basically our first flamethrower of the game. We could also use either of those dice now to use our dynamite to light the place here on fire, which would then definitely allow us to not lose the game with our next die roll here, because we would move it basically back to the left. Again, if the next die roll here on the weather die, if that's the snow symbol, we are immediately out of the game. But honestly, I think it's far more fun to simply use his action now. So he gets to draw 3 cards and gets to pick 1. So here's the first one. That's another melee weapon. Completely useless. And that's a Molotov cocktail. Not really useless, but also not great. And the last one is another Molotov cocktail. Are you kidding me? So in this case, do we need 2 of those? In theory, yes, but practically not really, because the next round will be the last anyway. Yeah, I think there is no point. So let's go, I don't know, for this one here, right? Yeah, this was so bad. Again, I will not look at a weapon stack ever again. The next round, well, let's do that at the end of this video. I was going to peek in the remaining cards, but let's not do that. So those go back to the bottom of the stack. And honestly, I do think we have lost our flamethrower long ago, actually. So that's where all of the actions, I think there is no point assigning another action to the folks in the laboratory. So we will send them all back to the leisure room. Again, I could now decide if I want to trade items away. Again, we have this one here, and I guess let's, I don't know, give it to, Norris has one already. Give it to Gary. Why not give it to Gary? We can still do stuff with that. Then yeah, we are doing another test, and in this case we get to choose again. And honestly, I think I want clarity. On the other hand, Norris is now the more useful fella, actually. That's the thing, right? But that's why if we lose him, that would be bad, which means, yeah, we will check McCready now. So again, we always have to go with the basic character that has the most suspicion points. In case of a tie, we get to choose. So we are sending this disc back to the green zone. We are doing this, and he is a human. Okay, so it's now either Norris or it's not, and then we are basically out of here. So there could be now a very solid reason, actually, to basically sacrifice him and make our escape. I think so. I think that's what we are going to do. And that's now where this game becomes a little bit gamey, which you wouldn't do in a movie like this, but you will always have these kind of sacrifices. So I think that you can basically spin a nice story around that, what happened to him actually, instead of, and I forgot to put him back to the leisure room, to these folks. But I think there is an okay chance for him to take really a major hit for the team, which would allow us to escape from the base. Wow. There is nothing to eat, which means we are moving 1 die from the game for good. This can be good or bad, but yeah, we were definitely losing some chances to get some useful icons, which we most likely won't need anymore, quite honestly. So I think we are making our attempt to escape one way or the other. And then it's basically the dogs that still would need to be spawned. Again, we have 1 dog left. We are shuffling the pile of location cards, which is a pretty cool mechanic, actually. I like that a lot, and works also pretty well here for the solo mode, I must say. So we have 1 dog, and the 1 dog goes to the generator room, which is broken anyway. We can whatever hunt some rats there, I don't care. And then yeah, we are shuffling it back in. The alien threat marker will still move 1 space here to the left, and then it's basically the next round. So the last thing, or the first thing to do actually, is to roll the weather die again. And again, if this die now comes up with a snow symbol, we have lost the game. And okay, it's cloudy. That was this 1 very important roll, which means this thing is only moving 1 space here to the right. So we are still very much alive. Are you kidding me? And as I do need clarity, I need to send Norris down here. He will get transformed into a dog, no, into an alien, of course. So we are adding to the alien strength, which increases the odds of the alien preventing our escape attempt. But I still think that's the better bet, because right now we don't know who he is. He could be, for all we know, the Thing character in this case. Yeah. Let's do that. And as McCready is currently the lowest one on the suspicion track here, I think he has to announce the escape. No one else can do that, and if you say, I don't want to do that, then no one is making the run for it. And this is where the rules are also a little bit unclear. As far as I understand it, you do all the movement, you do all of the encounters, and then you basically start somewhere and say, okay, I want to make the escape, and again, the lowest one can make that call. It seems you can do that as soon as this character has moved and made had their encounters and then they could decide. Again, a little bit confusing. I will now play it really to play out the entirety of the round, actually, or the movement, not the round, the movement and the encounters, and then I will announce my escape. Could be terribly wrong, apologies for that, a little bit of another rules ambiguity here, but yeah, let's do that. So which means we have to send McGreedy somewhere. It doesn't really matter too much, so we will definitely send him here to the dormitory because he doesn't have any encounters here. And again, if I would have given this dynamite to one of these characters here, they could have fended off the alien actually. So in this case, we could have good chance of winning this whole thing, but again, it doesn't really matter too much. They will all go, I don't know, let's meet in the kitchen. Why not? This sounds like a fun idea. They can all take the suspicion hits, including Gary, who still holds the weapon. So I'm now happy I at least played this one correctly, at least. But again, with a dynamite, they would be perfectly safe. And then, yeah, we have to plan for the alien. So again, 4 and 2 in here. We will assign the cards accordingly. Again, I could have played this incorrectly. Maybe he could have made his escape already, McGreedy. He was lowest, but I still think I do want the encounters anyway. So I don't really know the order of things, actually. So this is the first one. This is the second one. And I think, yeah, we are starting with them anyway, right? So this is the weapons room, so we are okay. So the big one goes to the weapons room, and I think this one cannot really harm us. No, it really doesn't matter. It will go down here to the shed. And then we have our encounters. For the first time in the game, we have to use a weapon. So Gary has to make this one here, actually, so he can basically abstain from all human encounters. So he's standing in the corner of the kitchen and whatever, waving this pipe here. Don't get near to me, which means he's not getting the suspicion here. Both of those will get it, but that's totally fine. The one problem we have, of course, is down here. So he's alone with the dog, so he will take one of those. So we are looking at the different bag here. We are drawing the pile, and that's a normal dog. Okay, I think the other one will look like really this alien dog kind. I don't find it now, but believe me, it's in here. So in theory, he's okay. This was a normal dog, which definitely is good. The problem is his suspicion will still increase, which means, no, that's the blue one. So he's also getting eaten by the alien. So we're removing it from the game, basically. In theory, we could look at his loyalty card, and we will do that at the end of the game no matter what. Anyway, we are removing him from the game as well. Unfortunately, we are adding another alien strength marker, which will come into effect actually. So this will become a problem rather sooner than later. And I just noticed something. I forgot to move the fuel marker 1 space to the right. So again, this has to be the final round of the game anyway. But now again, it's McGreedy. He will announce we are making a run for it, and now the alien will definitely try to beat us. And the way how this reads, this is now really a very random element of the game. We are looking at all of those, so we don't need those anymore actually. We can put them back. The pipe is basically also out of the game. I should have mentioned that all the melee weapons, when you have used them basically to dodge them, they are pretty much out of the game. For the ranged weapon, you are allowed to keep, but it definitely served its purpose. And again, the way how this works is now for each alien strength marker, we are rolling basically one of those dice. So it's 7 in total, and as far as I remember, it's if we are rolling 3 red symbols on those 7 dice, the alien was basically hindering our escape here. So yeah, let's do that. I think in this case we will use the dice tower accordingly. Yeah, let's definitely, we always use the dice tower for this result. So we are hoping for 0 red successes, right? So that's, are you kidding me? The first roll is a miss. There's nothing we can do about it, which doesn't necessarily mean we have lost the game. It simply came in our way. We were not able to escape the, let's say, the base in this case, but it comes with so many other implications. First of all, the next round we will roll for the die, and the helicopter is out of fuel, so it will move back. So we don't have any more rescue option from this, and down here we haven't even bothered to refill it or repair our base helicopter or our snow kit here. The other main problem is, of course, in respect to the base condition, is because no matter what we are rolling, it will move 1 space to the right, and that's basically insta-death, which will happen at the start of the next round, so we can safely say it's game over. We were not able to make it out of outpost 13 or 31. 31, right? Outpost 31. Now, that was really a terrible, terrible roll. I think I was actually quite okay so far in the majority of those rolls, but this was really brutal. The one time it really did matter, I immediately failed. Are you kidding me? We still had to roll 4 more dice, by the way, anyway, so it was pretty terrible. Just out of curiosity, let's check the 2 characters that have been eaten by the alien. That was the last one, that's Norris, and he was human. And last but not least, down here, we have Knowles, and he was also human. Are you kidding me? Are you really saying I shuffled all those cards out of the pile? I think it did. Wow, okay. That was, I mean, I could have really somewhat dodged the bullet there by not sacrificing him. That would have meant rolling 1 less die, but again, as the first 3 die results were already against us anyway, I think it didn't really matter. And the last thing to check is the weapons pile here. So that's a no, 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 no. Okay, so this completely means the flamethrower had to be in one of those cards we early on discarded. And yes, there it is. The first sabotage event that happened in the armory has taken away the one and only flamethrower. I checked this now, we have 1 flamethrower in the solo game. Whoa, okay, but honestly, I really must say, a highly enjoyable solo mode. I really did like the multiplayer experience anyway, so it's really a great game in that regard. The one big problem with this game, yeah, are basically the rules. Again, the majority of those rules, how you do those actions, those are clear, but where it really matters in respect to when exactly, what's the timing in respect to some of these things, when can you make that escape, for example, or some of the, what I did encounter with the darkness, for example, in the solo mode. If we get a second version of the rulebook with all those FAQs tied into, then I think this game has really a potential to be an outstanding game actually. Right now as it is, it's a good game. It's a very solid game, it's a lot of fun of game, but when I have to really refer the geek and FAQs and erratas too much to basically go with the standard mechanics of the game, then yeah, there's definitely stuff to do. I think you agree with. But apart from that, if you manage to go for it, I will write my own set of FAQs, of course, and will print that out next into my box. And the next time I'm playing this, I will hopefully remember and play everything correctly. I'm definitely enjoying this game very much, and also the solo mode is a ton of fun. Yes, this last bit here, the final escape in respect to those die rolls, that's very random. Yeah, you know, it's rolling die. If there would have been some mechanics to negate some of them, let's say you would have allowed me to use one of my things here, my dynamite, my Molotov cocktails, to at least negate one of those die results, then I think it would be the better result, because you will always at least roll 5 dice no matter what, if the alien would have been revealed at that point in time, which is very likely, obviously. But maybe you can beat the game by simply storming to the rescue down here and make your escape and really test folks like crazy. If you get the flamethrower early on, for example, and you are totally successful in here, you could maybe make it actually to make it out of base without the alien revealing, even in solo mode, but it feels very difficult, quite honestly. But yeah, that's basically the thing, the board game, using the 1, 2, 3 player rules. Again, I really enjoyed the heck out of this game, and I really hope you did too. A huge shout out to all of my patrons and channel members out there. You guys are truly amazing. If you want to support my little channel here, you can directly find a link to Patreon. You can join me here on YouTube. There is this little thanks button down there where you can directly donate here on YouTube. Like and subscribe, leave a comment. This also greatly helps the channel, of course. And yeah, with that being said, hope to see you soon in one of my other videos. And until then, bye bye.